Hi there. Welcome back to our video series on C++ fundamentals. We are going to take a look at a actual little program that's going to do something very simple, but a lot of the pieces that we've already talked about are in there. And we're specifically wanting to talk about the members that are inside of a class, but I want to show you that in an actual little program that's going to do something. So we're over here in our Visual C++ 2005 Express Edition, which we got as a nice freebie from Microsoft and got it all installed and updated. And you did that way back in chapter 1 and back at the beginning of our video series. So let's just go line by line down through our program and take a look at it. The first line is something that Microsoft likes. That's our standard AFX.H, and that'll need to be there. If you don't have standard AFX.H as one of your early lines, the compiler will be glad to complain about it, and it will prompt you, did you forget to put this line in? So just put it in there. Then we include our IO stream, because we're going to be writing to the screen in a little bit, and that's there. And then we're going to set up to use a STD, the standard library namespace. We'll talk about namespaces later on in the video series, but basically this says that we want to gather a group of functions and methods that are out there and different kind of definitions, and use them without having to call up std : all the time. So it says that we're using the standard namespace. Now here we're going to make a rectangle, and I use the class name CRectangle, and you can see that right there with the capital C in the front of it, and that just says that that's the name of my class. That doesn't create anything. Remember, this is just a declaration. We're not actually creating the class yet. And you know, by instantiating the class is when we'll actually create one. So here we just want to say what the class actually is and what's in it. We're going to have two integers which are private, and that's h and w. That's going to be height and width of our rectangle. And I'm thinking about building a deck on my house, so that's why I've put this little thing together, just to do a quick area and know how many square feet we're talking about. Here we have a public access specifier, and that says that these two items, anything after the word public : will be available to anybody that wants to use them in the rectangle. The H and W are only available to the CRectangle class, other members. So H and W could only be used by setSides or area to be able to do any work with them or touch them at all. setSides, this is a declaration of the little function called setSides, the method, because it's a method that we can use with this class, and it'll take in two integers, int, and that's the interface to setSides. It'll have to take two integers or the compiler will complain about it. Here we have an int area. This is another definition of a function. And here is our actual definition of the function right there. That's the code that makes it up, because there's the braces that we need to contain the contents of the function itself. This is called an inline function or method, an inline function. The rule of thumb for an inline is that it should fit on one line and be a very simple return like that. This can save you some function called overhead by putting this in here, because it will be included right in the class as an inline function definition. So that's our little area function, and it will return an integer. We see the int there. Notice that setSides is a void return. It doesn't give anything back. Area will return an int, and what it will return is the h times the w, the height times the width. And that's the same h and w that were defined up here. All right, straightforward. Now we're going to come down here, and we're going to actually define the setSides method, and that method, which is referred to up here as part of the CRectangle class, now has to, it was declared up here, now it has to be defined down here. We have setSides. It'll take in integers a and b. This looks pretty normal to C programming, right? We have our open brace, and then we're going to say that h is equal to a, this incoming integer, and w is equal to b, this incoming integer. So these h and w's are our two private h and w's up here that are part of CRectangle, and we can see them because we also are part of CRectangle. setSides is a method within CRectangle. All right, and here's the closing brace on the CRectangle. Now that's enough for right now. I'm going to start another video so that we don't make these too long and boring. And then we'll talk about main and how we actually use this class, okay? So just skip over to that one, and I'll meet you right back here in a second.